of God because there's too much sin in California. Who told you? There may be more sin in Uyo than California. How are you measuring sin? Is it because they have plenty money you think they are sinners? You know, poor people, anywhere they see rich people, they believe they are sinners. Oftentimes, we just require to interpret. Simply that. Someone said, God says, I form the darkness, I form the light, I the Lord do all this. I think it's Isaiah 45 or something. I the Lord, I form the light, I form darkness, I do all these things. All right? So someone said, Isaiah was wrong. How will Isaiah say that? Well, the guy, he got it wrong. I form the light, Isaiah 45:7, and create darkness. That word create is where you have problem. Did you observe? He didn't say I create light, I create darkness. I form light, I create. So where your problem is create. And now that's language. That's language. That's language. He didn't say I create light, I create darkness. I form light, I create darkness. They are not the same. There's intentionality in the writing of Isaiah. So you must do a study on create from Isaiah chapter 1 to the last chapter to see what create is in Isaiah. Create is not your today's create. There was a communication. If you don't get, you will think Isaiah is saying, I'm the one behind darkness. Just like I was on radio today and they were asking me about the California fires. That many preachers say is the judgment of God because there's too much sin in California. Who told you? There may be more sin in Uyo than California. How are you measuring sin? Who told you there's a lot of sin in California than it is in Nigeria? How are you measuring? Which barometer? Is it barometer? Which barometer? Or which thermometer? Or which stethoscope? Or which what other measuring thing do we have? Sinometer. Which sinometer did you use to measure that California has too much sin? That's why fires are burning. It's simple carelessness, human carelessness. Simple human carelessness. Leadership failure. It's as easy as that. Every year there is California fires. It's not a new development. It is what happens every year because it's a desert area. Those of you that have been around deserts, I came from northern Nigeria, I understand deserts. In the north, there are places you go where when it is dry and the wind begins to blow, the grasses catch fire without matches. In the north, when the weather is dry and the grasses are dry, there's a level of wind that will blow, the bush will catch fire without matches. It's the way it is with desert areas. So you are a leader over a desert area and you know these things have been happening every year. What should you do as a leader? You should be proactive. By now you should have developed technology. You should have put the best brains to see what can be done to stop these fires. And you should have employed, you have all the money, America, you have all the technology, you have access to everything. You are even moving to Mars to go and create human life. Is it common dry weather and grass and trees that you cannot control? So when man fails to do what he needs to do, Satan will capitalize on that failure and destroy lives and destroy property. It's as easy as that. It cannot be God. God does not kill, God does not destroy. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I am come that you may have life. Is it clear here? Okay. So let's go back to I form light. I create darkness. It's language. Because if you go through the book of Isaiah to examine the word create, when we use create today, it's like to make something out of nothing. Okay? But that create there is like there's water log in an area. I'm just giving an illustration. Okay? So, and because of water log, there's stagnant water, which will now produce mosquitoes, produce malaria, filaria, kilaria. if there are reas like that, because of stagnant water, all kinds of diseases. So because we don't want that logged area to produce stagnant water that is dangerous to health, I walked into the place and I created a drainage. When I create a drainage, that water will be directed elsewhere. So now I have divided the water from the house and from the land. I have divided the water from the house and from the land. I have separated. Okay, so I said when God separated the light from the darkness, the word create means to separate. Separate doesn't mean to form. The only thing he formed was light. Darkness, he separated darkness from the light. How do we know? It's there in Genesis. In Genesis chapter 1, he separated. Give me Genesis 1 verse 4. Genesis 1:4. Teaching good tonight. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness, separated the light from the darkness. Next verse. And called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Now, separating the light from the darkness, does it mean he created it? Separated means it was already in existence. All he did was to separate it. So Isaiah was just talking about that God forms the light, but he also separates light from darkness, so that light and darkness cannot coexist. That's all he did. I'm teaching here. I said, I'm teaching here. So separating the light from the night is what he called created. That's the word bara. Bara. B-A-R-A.
You know, there is the wildfire that is raging in California. And I have heard some people trying to align that to Californians or Americans being so sinful. And according to them, it is God's revenge or God's vengeance for the sinners in California, which I find that to be very funny, you know. I am not someone that believes that when we have natural disaster, it is God somehow raging his wrath on us. I have never believed that for a second, because we have always had natural disasters, right? We've always had them. It's either we are having flood, or we are having wildfires, or landslide, or and tsunami, or all those things, right? We've always had them. So I don't think it's God punishing anybody. It's just Mother Nature doing her own thing. And to see Africans think that it's because Americans or Californians are sinners and God has decided to punish them is laughable. It's really laughable. Because I ask myself, right, how righteous do you think you are? Are you more gracious than them? Are you more godly than an average person? And what made you think that God would punish people for one reason or the other? How are you so sure that God would punish them? These are the questions I ask people when somehow they feel morally superior than other people. And Christians are good at this. They are. They are the ones who will tell you that because you said this, God will punish you. They are the ones who are praying for people who do not like them to die. People who they think don't like them to die. They are the ones saying that, let my enemies die. Not that let them repent. No. Let them die. A real believer of God will pray for his enemies to repent and turn away from their evil deed. That is what a real Christian would do. But not the born-again Christians we have in our community. Not those ones. Not those one who will sit in their houses and wait for people whom they presume not to like them to die. I asked them again, there was this issue about same sex that was raging in Nigeria, in Ghana, and the politicians were using it to set the people against each other, to keep the people busy while they do their own things. Most of the times in Africa, when politicians have failed in their responsibilities to the nation and to the people, they would just bring in something that would distract people from their failures. And so Ghanaian lawmakers who were failing the nation decided to bring in same-sex issue, and they were there busy deliberating it. And I was like, you have not done anything for your nation, right? There are a lot of things you should be thinking about, a lot of things you should get done. So why this renewed attention on this particular subject? People are starving, people are hungry. Why bring something like this that doesn't really benefit anybody? Well, except you, the politicians, because you use it as a distraction for the masses. Why? And Christian fanatics jump onto it, and they were saying all kinds of things. It is against my belief. It is against procreation. It is against the Bible. This and that and that and this. And that God will punish them. And I was like, what made you so sure about that? What made you so sure about that? I thought that judgment was for the Lord. I thought so. I thought that only the Lord knows who lives and who dies. I thought so. And only the Lord knows who he is going to destroy and who he is going to rescue. Isn't it? So what made you so sure into thinking that because someone associates themselves with same-sex people or same-sex community, somehow God will destroy them? What made you so? And what made you think that you are more righteous than them? What made you think that you have secured a good place at the sight of the Lord than them? What made you so sure about that? What made you so sure? It's the same thing with the wildfire. Africans are shouting. And remember, most of those Africans who are talking about California wildfire don't even have good road in their communities. Most of them are struggling. I am not holding it against them. I'm just stating the fact. Most of them don't have good quality jobs. And rather than focusing on that, they are now trying to tell us how knowledgeable they are in the subject of God raging vengeance on people. That's what they are telling us. Now listen, like my daddy in the Lord, Dr. Abel Damina said, that is a completely natural disaster. And it is not the first time for it to have happened. The problem now is the scale at which this one is taking place. A lot of people are losing or have lost a lot of things in this disaster. This is not by God's making. This has nothing to do with God. We humans must do what we have to do to protect ourselves. God will not do for us what we have to do for ourselves. And I hope we all understand this. We must do the necessary, not God. not God. God has already empowered us to do certain things all by ourselves, and we have to do them. God won't do it for us. No, no, no. I hope people understand. And last thing before I go, please, just a friendly advice. Stop these moral high grounds that you guys like to take. Stop. Stop it. Now, you might criticize people, yes. I do that all the time. Criticize me if you want, that is good. But don't think for a second that you are morally superior than me. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Or you are morally superior than other people. No, I will never claim to be superior than other persons. I would pinpoint what they do that I think is wrong, and I will call it out or I will criticize it. But I will not for a second think that I am better than them. So you shouldn't do that. Moral superiority is bad. Moral supremacy is wrong. So stop it.